March 28th, 2020. My name's Corey Winfield, and this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. And something new we're going to start doing on Sundays is the Sunday night replay. Whether you have an episode that's your favorite, feel free to have us play it again. Marnie, though, has been going through the archives, and she's been picking out episodes that she thought were useful for people in recovery. Sometimes we get a little carried away on the podcast, and sometimes we're very sincere and very recovery focused, let's just say. We're always sincere, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, this is from May 24th of 2020. Marnie selected this one, so this is Marnie's Sunday night replay. Enjoy.
Sound check, 1, 2.
This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
He knows as soon as he gives it to her, he's gonna give her his heart to her too.
And we'll have kids and get married. That's too far.
Holy shit.
24th of May, 2020. My name is Corey Winfield. Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast in the 217 Recovery Studio out of Traverse City, Michigan. I'm not sure where you're listening because I'm not with you. But whether it's in your car, whether it's in New Zealand, whether it's in Iceland, I don't think people listen to us there. But yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. And please share this with your friends. If you know someone in recovery, know someone maybe who used to be in recovery, maybe you just like listening to podcasts. I really do appreciate it. Joining me in the studio tonight in Traverse City, Michigan is the one, the only, the Marnie.
Hi
Marnie,
there.
welcome.
Hi. How you doing?
Doing well. How was your Memorial Day weekend so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah?
So good, yeah. I worked, got off work this morning and then got some sleep. So, yeah, then worked on some stuff for the podcast, or for the 217 recovery rides with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. I noticed you also watched a movie in honor of the fallen.
Yes, I did. Part of it. I fell asleep, but
And
I did watch it. Yeah.
the movie was
We Are Soldiers.
there you go. I thought you wouldn't remember the name, but you did. Yeah, We Were Soldiers. And, you know, that movie is one of my favorites. And it's a tough movie. It's an emotional movie. Mel Gibson did a great job with We Were Soldiers. And it got me thinking, though. And it's not that I'm racist, Marnie. Because I'm not. But it's like, how come, like, I can say, oh, yeah, me no fly lice, you know, and people are like, oh, they know what accent I'm doing, you know, and I've never heard an Asian person, like, straight up, like, they call it fresh off the boat, like, come over and then, like, do, like, an American accent. Like, they don't go, oh, you want this too? Like, hey, how's it going? You know, I don't know why that is, and I'm not throwing racism out there. I'm not being racist. This is just a question. I can state facts. I can ask some questions. Mm-hmm. You know, without being a racist. You know, I'm not being racist. I'm just saying. You know, there was that one movie that we watched, The Gentleman. Was it called The Gentleman? With Matthew McConaughey and the dude from Sons of Anarchy. You know, I said, you don't know. Hugh Grant. Remember that movie?
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember now, but I don't remember.
And they had the Asian. He was British.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I've never heard, like, I think he was actually, like, is British. So, I mean, if they're raised, you know, but it's just like someone from that country, I don't know.
Well,
maybe there's accents we can't do as Americans.
Right. Well, I mean, we're all human beings, and we're born with like the same like vocal structure.
Were we? Were we?
Okay, let's not go there right now. Okay.
Well, I was just
I'm trying
wondering.
to touch on your question.
Okay. I was
But
wondering.
I mean, accents are just the reason. Like languages encompass different, use different. Some languages use different phonemes and different like phonetics more within their language. And I mean, when you're born surrounded by that language, then when you try to say words that are more American words, or when we try to say words that are Chinese, then it sounds like that's why Americans sound like Americans trying to sound Chinese, and Chinese people are Chinese people trying to sound American. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking, and I was remembering the fallen. So happy Memorial Day, and that brings us to some recovery topics, and something I've been working on all day, and you kind of hinted on it, was the 217 recovery rides. And one of the things we have to do is we have to get insurance, we have to get transportation, we have to get technology, as in, we need, we could bust out an old notepad and write down the mileage, but these are things that we have to keep track of so that we can be reimbursed. Oh, that's what I didn't put in there. Anyway, I was putting it on the website, and the donation button should be working on the mobile. Like if you want to use your phone to check out our website, or if you want to use your desktop, it should be good to go now. But I forgot to add that the rides are going to be free to people in need. Mm-hmm. Medical, transportation, if they need to go to a doctor, if someone in recovery needs to go see their therapist, or even if they need to go to court or to see their lawyer, as long as it's recovery related, we'll take them there for free. And that's what we're going to do with recovery rides. And we're going to start it in Traverse City, and we're going to do it also in Charlevoix County, in Emmett County, Petoskey, Charlevoix, Harbor Springs, that area too. So we really need at least 2 vehicles, and I think we're going to be swamped. And I think once we start it, the actual need for it, because that's what people want to see. They want to see how many people are you transporting, how many people are you taking, and how many could you have taken.
Right.
And when we say, well, look, we got 4 pages of people who need rides, and we can only take 10 of them, then I think the need, then I think it'll be kicked up into high gear to where different people will allow funding to be released to us, and I hope that's how it goes. And I should have put 2 years, because on the website I have all the stuff laid out, 217 recovery rides, and I put in 4 years we want to be statewide. I think before that I want to be statewide. I think we could do it, and we're hiring recovery coaches as drivers. Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to be a recovery coach, and what do I do? And they're like, well, you can work in a hospital and make $17-20 an hour or whatever. Yeah, good luck with that, because you have to be through the state with all that. And I don't know, I've read and heard that if you are a recovery coach through the state, you have to have a perfect record. You can never have been arrested, you can never have done this, and it kind of makes you wonder, how the hell can you even be a recovery coach? Because this is a peer thing. To be a recovery coach, you have to have had some kind of addiction, substance use disorder. And that's what makes it it's like peers, peer recovery coach. But
well, actually, you can be a recovery coach and not be in recovery.
You're just going to be a peer recovery coach?
Right. That's my understanding.
It's not mine.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
You said that again?
No.
I just wanted the beginning part.
I know what you're doing.
But I don't know. But yeah, so, those are going to be our drivers, and we're going to be putting people to work, and I just think it's going to be huge, and I can't wait till it really takes off. And but in order for that to happen, we do need support. We need the funds to get those things started, and once that happens, it's going to take off. And the people that do choose to support us and support the local recovery community, they're going to feel good about where their donations going, where their support is going to fund. And I'm just excited. I really am. I just wish I was more excited and could finish this stupid website. I was working on it for a couple hours and it was just like, I can never get it how I want it. And then when I have it how I want it, I don't like it. Like we were sitting in the living room, Marnie and I. She was asleep watching We Were Soldiers, dreaming about the movie Willow or whatever she was doing. And that's another long story. And by the time I finished that, came back to the studio, I had already not liked what I had just spent 2 hours on the website. So then I went back and fixed it and changed things. And I don't know. I
think you're going to have to be okay with that because I think it's going to be an ongoing project and you're just tweaking it to how it's going to be best for that day. And then maybe you'll change it tomorrow, which you will.
Well, now I'm thinking, well, here's like the things that we need. You know, we need funding for the drivers. We need funding for, auto insurance, which is insane. $15,000 a year per vehicle.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. Like, I couldn't believe that, but that's what it is.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, to get it off the ground, but we're doing everything that we can. It's going to be a challenge to get it off the ground.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
Oh no, but no, the need is there, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, we got to just get a lot of things in order and figure out how it's all going to work. Where they call to get the rides, how we're going to dispatch the rides. Logging everything. But, main thing, we need vehicles.
Yeah, that
vehicles
too.
And we need drivers. And, we just got to boom, 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 make lists and just chip away at them, figure out what we need to do to make those things happen. So, it seems overwhelming at times, but, you're on the ball, and I'm right beside you, and, we got our board, hopefully, that's going to step up as well, and then from there, just going to have, hopefully, a snowball effect, and things will seem a little bit easier and make more sense, and there we are.
Well, yeah, but when you say it's going to be hard to get off, and that I'm right beside you, I don't like that. I like to think of it as more of a personal challenge.
You can look at it however you want.
The people who want to support us. And now, are they just going to sit back and watch it get off, or are they going to jump in and grab it with two hands and just wrestle it like a tiger and help us.
However it needs to work to get them there.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Sometimes a swift kick in the ass,
Yeah. Guess.
I was just, trying to go with the ass play on that. But no, thanks for listening along to that. And I appreciate it if you're still listening now. Sometimes we have to have fun, though. And I don't know. I felt last night's podcast, I was too deep in recovery, and I had a pretty crazy day yesterday, and I shared just a tiny little bit of it on the podcast yesterday. But getting somebody the help they need, and that them looking at you going, when you get them there, and they just look at you and they go, "No, I'm not getting out. I'm not going in there." And I'm just like, "Yeah, you are." And he's, "No, I'm not. Take me home." And, "No, I'm not taking you home. You're getting out." Mm-hmm. And to try to do that, I'm not a patient person. And to do that with patience and to try to not be aggravated. And, the person I was with, he has a very unique sense of humor. And it's similar to mine almost. Like, some people, he's joking, but you can't tell he's joking. Mm-hmm. And so I had to deal with that, and I was getting frustrated, but I can't show that I'm frustrated. And I didn't want him to just take off walking. Once I told him, "No, I'm not giving you a ride home. You can walk home. I'm just not giving you a ride." I don't know if that kind of hit home, but I was able to get him in there. Mission was accomplished, but it was hard. And I was thinking last night on the podcast that I don't know if I ever did that. I remember the first time I went to like a dual diagnosis place, I guess they'll say, that I was scared. I was nervous, very nervous. And I went, though. But, I mean, I don't think I ever told somebody, hey, I need help, I need treatment, and then was like, no. Now, my mom would probably chime in, and I don't know. I mean, she would remember probably more than I would. Mm-hmm. But normally it was her calling the cops on me to do a wellness check and them coming in, and me either lying to the cops, not letting the cops in, which was my favorite. You know, they just come knocking on the door. I'm like, what's up? If I would even say that, you know. And sometimes I would, because they were like, if you're dead, you know, we're going to come in. I'm like, whoa. I'm not dead, man. I'm cool. Well, can we come in to check it out? Nope. And then sometimes I would let them in, and my mom was just surprised, because my mom knew I was drunk, and I would pass the cops, you know, like, no, I'm not drunk. And that's how much I drank, you know, to where an officer would look at me and go, yeah, he's fine. You know, he's not drunk at all, you know, or not that drunk. And they test me and I'm like 0.538, you know, and it's like, oh my God, like, how is that possible? But, you know, so I don't think I ever put anybody through that, to where I was like, hey, help me. Wait, let me throw on the brakes. No, don't help me. Mm-hmm. I need one more drunk, or, you know, I need to use one more time. Yeah, I was reflecting on that the other day too, as well. I kind of had the same situation as you did the day prior, and it was a real emotional roller coaster for me. And I was dealing with a lot of things, like, kind of in a row. And it started off, all right, I'll tell you the story. It started off, I got a phone call from someone that is struggling, and it's an individual that I've known for a while. I consider her a good friend. And she has reached out to not only me, but you as well, Corey, before. And it kind of was that, you know, you talk through things to get her so far. You know, you're taking in what she's saying, you're responding to, you know, her words, and basically, you know, you both are on the same page up until a certain point. And then it reaches that, let's do something about this. And sometimes we'd get farther than others in terms of figuring out where she was going to call to go, where she was willing to go, and we'd get that far, and then for whatever reason it would fall through. So once again, yesterday, or day before yesterday rather, got that to that point, and actually kind of we overcame that last little piece. Was she made the phone call, she got accepted, and it was, you know, to get her there. And she had also reached out to another individual that we're close to, who's in the program, and she's doing well. And so there was this team of us kind of collaborating, you know, with her, and this is all via phone. So that made it a little more, you know, difficult, but got her with the agreement that, you know, she was going to go to treatment or to detox, and then hopefully follow up with treatment after. And then all of a sudden it just came to this screeching halt, and, you know, it was, I'm not going to go. And she says, I can't do this. I'm not worth it. And, you know, it was painful, you know, to hear that, her say those words, because I've been her. I've felt like that before. Now, like you, I never have actually gotten to the point where I've agreed to treatment, got it set up, and then backed out. So that's something that I hadn't done, but that's no different than, you know, all of the other leading up to it, admitting that I needed help, you know, planning on getting help, and then not following through. So that being said, the conversation didn't end well. Actually, it just didn't end really at all, except for the fact that she hung up the phone on me, and I was upset. And I followed up with a text and just said, I love you. I hope you find your way there. And
she wanted another drunk. She wanted another night at least. And even if that, I mean, who knows what if that would have been another night and another night and another night. But I didn't have it in me to try to figure that out because, I had done everything that I could. And so had everyone else that was involved. So, anyhow, I found myself extremely in this weird spot because I was crying and I couldn't really figure out what exactly I was crying about. I knew that I was sad for her, that she wasn't gonna go into detox, and that she was still sitting somewhere doing the same thing she'd been doing, drinking and feeling like she's feeling. And I kind of started off me kind of wallowing in her pain, I guess. And then from that, it turned into this anger, this weird resentment of like, I talked to you on the phone and we worked through this together and we got you to this spot where, you were supposed to, reach that next step of possibility of getting back on track. And, my time and my emotions and my this, that, and the other. And so I was bitter. I was mad. And then it was turned into this weird, even different sadness where I started really kind of taking it apart and looking at it, stepping back and kind of looking at what had just happened and what I was feeling, and realized that I was in a position that I had put other people in countless times while I was drinking. And the pain that I was feeling at that moment was the pain that I put on so many other people that I cared about so many other times. And I didn't think twice about it when it was actually happening because I couldn't, and that's where she was at, the day before yesterday. And I was feeling those feelings that those people felt when I did that to them, and that hurt. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm crying because I'm mad at myself. I'm crying because I'm upset that I made so many people upset. And so it was a really emotional moment and realization. And so what do? I get on my phone and I text my mother. And because she's one of those people that I had done that to. And I've said it before, and I kind of was like, I basically just told her the whole thing of what was going on with me and what I was feeling at that moment and how I was, realizing all of these emotions and what have you. And I said, I texted her and I said, I just have one question for you. And then I stopped and I texted, I said, how did you do it? How did you just wrap your head around, having to be okay with, me and how I was just like a total mess, and there was nothing she could only do so much. And then it was up to me. And if I wasn't going to get help, then I wasn't going to get help. And, and she just said, let go and let God. And she said, I know it sounds easier, than it actually is, but just hold on and pray about it. And she said, then she said that she was proud of me and that, to keep doing what I was doing. So that was like a huge thing for me, a huge moment. And in my personal recovery is to be able to feel those feelings, to be able to pick things apart and really look at them and how far I've come. And so, yeah, it was a really, really emotional day for me the other day. So,
So it's like we still need the people that, like you said, you reached out to your mom. Like, how'd you do it? Like, we still need their help and guidance. Like, hey, look, we put you through this. Or I like to put it as I trained, or I gave my mom life skills, lots of them. And now, like, I'll be calling her because I thought about that too. You know, we both kind of, and I don't know how that woman is similar to you. I mean, you know how in the way she is, the way she's not, but with the guy that I helped, I mean, it was like, I like to joke around and I will say stuff, you know, when I got the person to the detox and he's like, the lady asked, do you want to be here? And he said, no, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. He meant that, you know, he'd already said that he would never come back there again. He'd already made up his mind that he was never going to drink again, you know, and so, no, he didn't want to be there. And yeah, he would rather go home. It was like a joke, kind of, almost. But the lady was like, well, if you don't want to be here, leave. And I'm like, no. He wants to be here. And then I said something that, as I said it, I thought, well, that was weird. And I said, no, when we say we don't want to ever be here again, it's because we've already told ourselves we aren't coming back here. And she's like, oh, yeah, I get it. But I just, you know, that whole we, you know, like we're the same people, like we're the same group of people, you know, and I don't know when I said that, and I don't know if the person that was checking them in, a lot of people that work at recovery treatment centers are in recovery themselves. Not everybody, but majority. Some, yeah. So I don't know if she's in recovery or not, but I am, you know, and it's just like, I just threw that out there, you know, like, no, like for us, like, you know, I was like, hey, these are my people, you know, and for us to say that, no, we don't want to be here, and we don't, we wish that first drink had never been picked up, is kind of what he was referring to. But to go handle someone that's pretty similar to me, you know, it really hit home to what I probably did put a lot of people through, just with the smart assness, with the, you know, everything about him, you know, is kind of similar to how I've handled situations in the past, whether it be when my mom would be like, oh, I'm not going to use the swear word she would use, but she said I was always hitting on the nurses. And like, I really don't think I was, but I don't really remember. So who knows? But she's like, oh, it was so GD embarrassing. And now she's going to say she never used the word GD. But Mom, I love you though. And the things that I did put you through happened for a reason. And I'm glad that I can make you stronger and a much more brighter woman. You know, not every woman in this world had that opportunity, Mom. So, you know, pat yourself on the back. You did a great job. And glad I can help you through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't. That's what I mean, I basically was just like I broke down to her, and I was like, just thank you for everything, and for sticking with me. You know, there's a lot of people that I'd like to say that, or I have said that to, and continue to say it to. It's not like it's, you know, they stood by me at my, you know, in my darkest moments, and that's an amazing thing to be able to, you know, to still be able to talk to the people that did, and to prove to, and by being sober today, you know, is a way to pay them back, I guess, if you want to say that in that way. Kind of weird to say it like that, but I will follow up with better news, is that I heard from that individual today, and that she is actually in detox now. So, like, wow, how about that? Because I knew from listening to Corey yesterday that this is something I was going to talk about, and it was still unresolved, and so, which was going to be fine. But then that happens, and God stepped in, and that phone call came, and I talked to her, and she is currently, as far as I know, last I knew, I had also spoken with an individual that was taking her there, so I'm pretty confident that she made it, and she's in detox. And so, you know, between God and her, you know, being strong enough to get to the point where she would walk through those doors, and whoever else was on her team on that end, God bless them as well, because she's doing it, and hopefully she'll take it to treatment, and and one day at a time for her. So I want to say props to her.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks.
If she'll ever listen to this, who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe she will. Maybe she won't. But if someone is going through that, or maybe they've done that to you, or maybe you've done that to them, well, I guess you wouldn't do it to the same person. Either, I don't know. Maybe you have. But here's what I'm trying to say, though. If someone's doing that to you right now, just hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get so frustrated. And that's one thing that your mom and my mom, they never gave up.
No.
And I am sometimes too quick to turn my back on people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit that. And, thank God, they didn't turn their back on us. And of course that's, a mother-son, mother-daughter thing there. Whereas a friend, it's a, I don't know. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, sometimes to just kind of turn your back. And that's something that you're great at, Marnie. Like, you hang in there, like, if she would have called me again, I don't know. I think she knew better. But, for you, I was just like looking at you and I was just like, why are you're just wasting breath and your time? And of course I didn't tell you that, but that's what I was kind of thinking. And, I'm never going to tell you what to do, or, well, sometimes I will, if you know what I mean.
Sexual relationship.
But, it just shows that the character that you have, and, your mom's right. Just keep doing what you're doing, Marnie. You're helping a lot of people, and, a lot of women do look up to you, and they should. You've come a long way, and you still got a long way to go, but so do I. We all do.
Yeah. And
one day we'll get there, and we'll be old and on a porch somewhere drinking strawberry coffee, which is amazing.
It's so delicious.
By the way, I think a Florida company makes it.
Yeah.
I think that's what's called, Florida Coffee Company or something. But yeah, strawberry. Check
strawberry
it out.
Shortcake.
Yeah, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. But we'll be sitting in the rocker drinking some coffee, and we'll be like, well, I got my 40-year coin coming up. And
no, though, it's so great doing you're not sitting in a rocking chair and being old, but doing that today and being like, I love my life. Mm-hmm. I love this, sitting drinking coffee, flavored coffee, enjoying the little things in life, and working on t-shirts and listening to you and all of your new plans, and of all the great things that are going to happen, and amazing stuff, just enjoying life. And I never thought that I would be in the spot that I am right now just a year ago. I mean, less than a year ago. I mean, more than a year ago. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm still thinking about. Yeah. Well, I just want to touch on real quick, because I can't get this out of my head, is how much alike that our moms are, because, and I've heard your mom say it on the podcast, in the same words that my mom had said, is basically she said she just got to the point where she wasn't giving up, but she wasn't gonna, try. She's like, I think your mom said, I just didn't know what else to do, and they didn't. And it was my mom said, if something's gonna work, that I was gonna have to find it myself. And I mean, thank God I did. Literally, thank God, because that's how I got there, to the point where I knew that if I was going to get better, that it needed to be on my terms, and it needed to be my decision, and it was time. And I pray that time comes for everybody sooner than later, for sure. If it's something that you need to deal with, is deal with your addiction. And because I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I didn't want to feel like I was feeling. I didn't want to live like I was living. And so I needed to make the changes that I needed to make to get to where I am today.
And you quickly got a position in a recovery center, treatment center. And I think that was the first kind of step to where I think you knew that you needed to be working in a recovery community, because you take work serious and you pride yourself in that. And I think that was one thing that you realized, okay, I got to go to meetings, got to do this, but you have to be involved. And for me, it was the same way. Now, not everybody's purpose is going to be, hey, I need to go, help out in the recovery community. Now, I do recommend that you do help people in some sort of way, kind of giving back. That makes you feel a sense of purpose. You actually get dopamine from doing that. Mm-hmm. So if you want to support 217 Recovery Rides, you want a little shot of dopamine, hit that donation button or support button, 217recovery.com. But the purpose for me was huge. Again, it's not going to be the same thing for everybody, but you were saying earlier too, Marty, there was another woman who said her daughter was, hooked on the pills, and well, then she kicked the pills, and well, now she picked up the bottle. And as well as I do that person is running from something. Right. There's something there that is not complete.
Yeah, that's another individual that reached out, and that's a tough one. That was I was telling you that, kind of running it past you, seeing what you had to say, because this individual is a friend of mine, and her daughter is struggling. Started off in pills, and from what she tells me, when I inquired about how she was doing, her answer was that she was doing better. She's off the pills, but she's worried because she said she's drinking a lot more. So, and not knowing this person and not being around this person and not knowing what that means, because everyone's idea of she drinks a lot more, what does that really mean? I don't even know what that really means, because I know her daughter's young, and there are a lot of people that go through these phases, of drinking, or what do they call experimentation of different things. And then, like, some people go through it with pot, like they smoked weed all the time, quote unquote, all the time for a couple of years or whatever, and then they just didn't do it anymore. Are they an addict or not? I don't know. It's a good question. But that being said, is that I was left wondering to myself, was like, okay, well, I can't very well just tell my friend, well, your daughter's got a problem. She's an addict. She's just addicted to alcohol now, because I don't know the situation. But what I was saying was that, she's young, whatever. And then I said, but if she's an alcoholic, and these are the words I said, and if she's an alcoholic and she's drinking, she's drinking because to her drinking is fun. Just like for me, drinking was fun until it wasn't. Until it became a chore, it became a lifestyle, and it became a physical need. And that's how I lived my life, is everything. Alcohol came first. So I'm hoping that her daughter's not at that point. I don't really know. I'm definitely going to keep in contact with her and follow up with everything. But, just another example of, that people that really, they want to know how to handle situations. And she's my friend, we're talking about her daughter. She's at a loss. She doesn't know what to do. And it's not like I have the answers. I think more so she just wants somebody to talk to and, try to sort through things best she can. And who better to talk to than somebody who's been through it? That exactly is the reason why I love my job, is because I don't feel like I'm doing my job better than other people. I'm doing my job because I understand my job, because I've been on both ends now, and it's easier because I'm looking at these women and it's like I'm talking to my old me. So, and I know the questions that are going through their head, and I know the crazy thoughts that they're thinking, and the worries and the concerns that they have, and I can address them even before they come out of their mouth, because they have to be thinking them, because, well, I'm not saying not all of them, my thoughts exactly, but in just in general, where you're at when you're in treatment. So that's part of why I like my job.
So do you think that your friend is more on guard? Well, obviously she would be, because you think, okay, I've seen her struggle with the pills. Now the alertness is more, it's ramped up a little bit more, and she sees the daughter, oh no, she's drinking. And like you said, you're not there. You don't really know the whole situation. I heard it. I'm like, okay, it does sound like she might be running from something, but we don't really know that, as fact. Maybe she drinks on, it was 2 weekends in a row where she just got drunk or whatever. Mm-hmm. Does that make her an alcoholic? Does that mean she has a problem? I don't know. Only she can answer that. Yeah. But the mom could see that and go, oh my gosh, that's 2 Sundays in a row I've come over here. She's drunk. She must be drinking all the time. She's probably when she needs help. We don't know. And, if you're worried about your son or daughter or your wife or husband, and you're thinking about the drinking has ramped up, and it went from started out fun to now they're drinking because they get home. Just, hey, I made it home. Let's get drunk. That could be the sign of a huge problem, and it's hard to get to the root of it. And you don't really want to come out and say, hey, honey, I think you need to go see your therapist. But know that being mad at them and trying to go that route with it really doesn't help. It's probably counterproductive, in my opinion. There's a guy I know who lives in Boyne City, and his girlfriend, I guess, and again, I don't know if she's an alcoholic or whatever, but I know she had went through AA. I think she was court ordered. So, she gets a couple DUIs or whatever, and she has to go. Well, does that mean she's an alcoholic? No. Not everybody that gets caught or pulled over drunk driving, whatever you want to call it, has a problem. They just made a bad choice. So there they are. Now they have to go to AA, and everybody's telling her that she's an alcoholic and this and that. Maybe she's not. Maybe she just likes to get effed up once a month.
Drive every time. I know that's a tough one for me. No, it's okay.
Women can have sex when they're drunk, and then it not be sex. It could be a whole crime. Then that's something that bothers me. Yeah. But, you're not, how one aspect, you're not responsible for what just happened to your vagina. But the second hand, hey, wait a minute, you're responsible for driving that car. To me, that does not make sense. And I know that, and I'm not trying to go down this road because it's a bad one, and I don't want to have this debate with anybody. But yeah, so I don't know if she was driving every time. She just got caught twice. Boyne City is very small. So whatever happened, I don't know. But instead of bringing a breathalyzer home and, hey, when you come in my house, you're going to breathalyze, how about sit your loved one down if that happens to you, sit them down and say, what's going on? Yeah. And if they say, I really don't think I am an alcoholic, well, listen to them. Maybe they're not. Right. Yeah. I know I am. That's all I know.
I think the thing with the DUIs that people have a problem with is if they've gotten caught X amount of times, how many times have they actually driven drunk? Mm-hmm. Which means how many times have they had too much? So it's supposed to kind of correlate. I guess you think about it. Let's say you've driven hundreds of times drunk, and then you've gotten caught once. So if you get caught twice, does that mean, you know what I mean? I think people look at it like that. If your more chances of having more DUIs means you most likely have an issue with alcohol if you have multiple DUIs. I mean, just from standing back, I think that's what that's what a person would think is well, if they have multiple DUIs, that means multiple times they've, had too much.
I don't know. I don't personally look at it like that.
No, I agree. I'm just saying from a kind of a far away.
Now, if someone goes out and they know, oh man, I'm gonna get effed up tonight, and I'm gonna drive the F home. That's a huge problem. That's just being an ass. But I'm sure that happens. Those are the people that I really don't think. But when I got my OWI, I don't remember driving. There's no reason for me to go anywhere. I don't know what happened. I blacked out, and that is very scary.
You're saying that you were saying that you didn't drink and drive.
Mm-mm. Right? I didn't. I'd never been pulled over before. Like, if you, like I've said this 1,000 times, like if you'd got me going to the liquor store the next morning, I'm sure if you'd given me a breathalyzer, it wouldn't have been good. But I've never like just went around driving around drunk, you know, like that's just, I valued my alcohol too much, you know. Mm-hmm. I wanted my drinking alone, and I wanted to do it the next day too. So, but yeah, so that was something that for me, it was crazy. But yeah, so I don't know. Either or, if your loved one is kind of doing that, talk to them, and you know, just talk to them, listen. Mm-hmm. Maybe do more listening than talking, but
yeah.
And maybe they won't want to open up. I know when people would come at me with, you know, I want to talk to you, I'd be like, oh, Jesus. Mm-hmm. About what? The drinking? Yeah. Well, and then I would, well, the game was on, this was doing, blah, blah, blah. Come with the excuses, but there's got to be a way, and I'm sure there's some really smart people out there on the internet where if you did like a search for how to talk to, you know, a loved one without being too confrontational or...
Right. Well, if you're talking to anyone, if you're talking to the individual themselves, or you're talking to somebody, a loved one of the individual, or a boss of an individual, or a neighbor of an individual, and they're concerned about somebody else saying, I don't know if they have a problem or whatever, I found that what works, at least to get the conversation either rolling or get somewhere, is that tell them, well, I'll tell you about what it meant to me. I know I'm an alcoholic, and these are some of the things that I went through and that I experienced, because that can't be disputed. You know, that can't be, you know, like that's the reality of it all. So, you know, maybe they'll be like, well, yeah, you know, she is, you know, experienced, or I see this, that, and the other thing that are things that I just talked about. So there's, you know, a connection between what I said that I'd gone through and what I was experiencing, and when I came to terms with the fact that I had a problem with alcohol, and what she was doing or is doing at the time. You know, sometimes people can, you know, put that together and then be like, wow, you know, maybe I do have a problem, or maybe she does have a problem. But figuring out is just that in itself, is figuring it out. What you do about it, that's the real challenge.
Well put. And switching topics now again. If you saw the picture that was posted on Instagram of me in that white hoodie, we're going to auction that sucker off.
Nice.
18
Are we auctioning off you in the white hoodie?
Hell no. No, because then we wouldn't get any money. But no, if, I don't know, we could start at like 18 million maybe, or should we get a little bit lower, like 17 million? I don't know, like, because I think we should start auctioning stuff like that. Yeah. Because like I'll make one-of-a-kind shirts, like the Nintendo logo. I think that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we could use the purple shirt.
Yeah, instead of like making like a shop, because we really don't have time. I don't have time to be pressing 800 t-shirts, and I just don't. And but if we made like one a week, one like cool ass shirt a week, like one cool design or whatever, and then we just auctioned it off and then use that as like donation money, you know, and that could go towards rides, that could go towards clothing. See, there's so many things that we want to do. It's just insane. We were talking to a woman tonight about the things. She's like, what is 217 recovery? What do you guys want to do? And I was just like, blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh.
Corey's answer was everything. He said that to her, and she was just, it was just this like silence afterwards, like she was waiting for him to follow up, you know, like actually explain his answer. Like he really doesn't mean everything. She's like, so you want to plug every hole there is have to do with recovery? And he doesn't say anything back. He's like, yeah. We want to do everything.
Yeah, you know, there's so many needs out there, and you know, when people show up, this is a huge one. When people show up to rehab, this is a guy that I know I think, was at the place that he entered, and he had the clothes on his back. That happens every single day.
Yeah.
And how are you supposed to feel good about yourself when you're in a place and the only thing you have are the clothes on your back? How are you going to... It seems like it's going to be hard as hell to move forward. And if we can get these people clothes, and I reached out to, I don't remember the name of the people who owns them, but Gorman's in Petoskey, that's a great store. We go there all the time for our clothing that we donate to recovery centers. And, I reached out to them saying, hey, can you guys donate some clothes? I don't know where you got trucks going on. I mean, your stores aren't doing anything right now with COVID-19. So you got some trucks somewhere, can you donate those clothes to us, and we will get them to the treatment centers? Because I think if people can get the clothing, they'll have, if you look good, you feel good. And I think that is a huge step in the right direction to building self-confidence. And, when they go into a treatment center, I know when I did, I was at my lowest. I felt like a piece of garbage and not worthy. And now all of a sudden, okay, get them some new threads. And it's like, hey, look, I'm going to comb my hair today. And a lot of people, when they come to treatment, they do cut their hair. They start with the little things at first. It's like, oh, well, let me shower every day. And those are new things for some people. And I just, I want to help on that aspect. I want to take people to their appointments, and, I'm not taking people to liquor stores. I'm not going to, I don't think we're going to take people to rehab. That's not our job. I don't think
we would, though.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to see on the insurance part of that, because there's a lot of things in there. If someone has a seizure, or there's a lot of training and stuff. And I don't know, maybe that is something we do. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure. But, if they're coming from like maybe a hospital or something, maybe we could take them to a treatment center. But I don't see taking people to detox as something that we would do. We could, I'm not sure about that. The liabilities. I don't know. You're looking at me like, you quit being lazy, Corey. No, but there's a lot of things that we need to do and that we can do. And, I want to make a movie, and I emailed Shannon from the Kalamazoo State Theater and said, hey, can we rent that real quick? Because I think that would be a great place for our little movie. And, in my mind, I have it envisioned to where it's, because there's going to be a lot of comedy in it, and there's going to be a lot of recovery in it. And it's going to be called Meet Recovery. And, with Chris Goss, going to Battle Creek, I think would be something that would be interesting. But a lot of it I want shot as kind of like a stand-up / TED Talk type deal. And I don't know. I'm reaching out to do that. I'm getting my hands into a lot of different things because I want to educate the public that, hey, this is recovery, and we are in recovery, and we're good people. You get the people like Dax Sheppard and Robert Downey Jr. and, oh man, look at them. They came out the right end, and they got millions of dollars too, and they're doing all right. We don't hear from Joe, who works at the tire shop, who pulled out and he came through and now he has his kids back, or the woman who, pulled through and she kicked her heroin addiction or quit meth, and now she has her kids back. Those are the real success stories. Robert Downey Jr., yeah, good for him. Dax Sheppard, yeah, good for you, buddy. I'm glad that you're, interviewing 50 Cent. That's real cool, man. Good job. But that's not our people. They might be in recovery, but I don't really classify them as being our people. I don't see them going through the struggles day to day. I see them maybe, hey, you better quit drinking or you're not going to get this next movie. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds great. I don't really know. I mean, maybe they are the same as us. Maybe they're not.
Celebrities are obviously are people too. They're just, their struggles are different. I mean, celebrities' lives are different than other normal day-to-day people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
they're just all the way around and encompassing take away the addiction. just every celebrity is, their lives are not normal. They don't go to the grocery store like normal people. They have their own personal trainers and gyms at their house. You know, they're chefs, whatever you want to call it. And maybe it is, maybe I'm talking more about money and all that, but I'm saying like people in recovery, they're entitled. They struggle just like we struggle. Their struggles are different.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess
when you're saying not like us, yeah, they have, but they still struggle. They're different struggles than our struggles.
I don't know. I guess what I was trying to say is like, I don't really want those people on my podcast. I don't know. If at the beginning I was like, oh, that'd be cool to have like celebrities. And now I look at it like, no, that'd be a waste of my time. Like, I don't really want to talk to Robert Downey Jr. about his addiction.
Well, every person that stays sober today that struggles with alcohol or drugs, any substance abuse or substance issue is a survivor and is our people. That's how I look at it. But I see what you're saying is like the day-to-day people that we run across make more sense to, hear from because we can connect on that level.
But people seem to jump on that like, oh, look at him. He's in recovery. He's so good. Like the dude from Mad Men. He was a raging alcoholic. And I guess he's still kind of an a-hole. But he did some really shitty things to his college, what do they call it, fraternity, whatever. He did. He almost went to jail or did go to jail or some prison or something. Like there was some bad stuff that he did. And, but he's better now. Look at him. He's just a success story. And I'm like,
right.
Well, he's still a douche kind of. But I don't know. Like those, I don't know. I guess it's just, I want to talk to the people that have real life stories,
right.
If that makes sense. And okay, does Dax Sheppard have a real life story? Sure. Does Robert Downey Jr.? Sure. But like, I mean, a real commoner, I guess, if that makes sense. A more, I don't know, more percentage of the population are like us,
right. People you can relate your story to.
Yeah. And I think that provides more hope and inspiration. Yeah, you might not know them, but I guarantee you their stories, the stories that we're going to hear from people are 10 times those of, this guy, now he made it in the movies again. Ooh, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I'm just trying to beef with those two guys.
Maybe you're trying to reel them in.
Yeah, because I'm talking about making my movie now.
Right. Maybe they want a piece of that.
I didn't even know it was coming. See, it's just hidden deep.
Yeah.
Now I'm beefing with them. Until I say I'm not. Iron Man sucked. I'm laughing. I'm just kidding.
Oh, but I do want to say one thing too is about the.
You beefing with somebody? Oh.
No, about about the clothes. Mm-hmm. Is that I know for in my experience, I've been asked before by general public, what's 217 recovery, and I'm thinking I have an answer for them too. I mean, I'll answer it and I'll tell you what I say when I tell you. But first off is like, I wear those clothes with pride because, I mean, yeah, it says 217 recovery and yeah, it is something because it's our organization, that, and we're started off, Corey started, he does this podcast and now we got all these other things that are, developing and, that we're adding on to and so on. But like that right there, for me at least, is saying like, for me, it's that I'm sober today. I'm living a life of recovery. And this is kind of like reflective of something that is part of my life that, keeps me sober or that, I'm recognized with to be sober about 217 recovery. But for other people, it's that I support the recovery community. I support 217 recovery because 217 recovery supports, gives hope and inspiration to people in active addiction and in recovery, current recovery. So I don't know. For me, it's like a symbol. It's like, why do people wear stuff with other logos on it? What does that mean to them? What do they want people to think about them when they look at them? You know, just because is somebody wearing, you know, I don't know, what's a good example of a logo, of a brand or something that people wear?
FUBU.
Okay. I don't know, Nike, Victoria's Secret, you know, the pink,
for
whatever.
Us, by us. FUBU, it's for us, by us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. DC, whatever. I mean, different brands kind of say different things about what it is that you know about or like or are part of, or you wouldn't wear it if you don't represent it in some way or another. You know? And so for me, 217 Recovery it's like a Nike symbol or, whatever, Adidas logo or a Victoria's pink, whatever that is. They all are saying something about what they connect with.
Thanks for listening to the replay from May 24th, 2020. We'll be back on Tuesday with a new episode of the 217 Recovery Podcast.